I've been on this bullet journaling journey for a few weeks now, and I felt like I was doing pretty good. And then this last week, things just went to shit. And it wasn't because I had a bad week. I had an overwhelming week, and things fell to the wayside. So let's just jump into my bullet journal here so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. And if you want to see how I did the previous weeks, there are bullet journal videos in a playlist that I've got linked, so you can go check those out. These are all seriously hot mess situations. They may look a little fancy because I know how to do lettering, but trust me when I tell you, every bullet journal spread for me is a struggle because I don't know what I'm doing, and I hate not knowing what I'm doing. Let's get to it. No, not these weeks. These weeks look great. So last week we started by adding a brain dump. As you can see, I haven't had time to sit down and do that yet. I will, I just haven't gotten there yet. And now we look at my habit tracker / my time tracker. I did drink water, I walked. I aside from this day, I did not wake up at 6:30 every day. I did some of these things, I just wasn't great at tracking them this week. This was basically how my week turned out in terms of tracking because I was super overwhelmed. Now you know, I fuck up. And then here is my bullet journal for the actual week. I got as far as Thursday. Now, part of the reason that I got super overwhelmed, I've been doing some dialysis classes, and that's a lot of information, and it kind of fills up your brain. I also went to the Creative Live on Tuesday, which was an amazing day. By the time I got home that night, I was toast. And I have a lot of things that I would like to take action on that I need to actually list out, which will probably be part of my brain dump. I've had to spend so much energy on so many things this past week. I also had my first board meeting as board president of my church. All of those things combined left my trackers sadly neglected, and even my bullet journal sadly neglected. My mother-in-law showed up on Friday. That's also had something to do with it. So we're gonna get started for this month. And what I wanna do on these 2 pages here is set up a 3-day food log. I have to have this for an appointment with a dietitian that I have next week, and I'm gonna start it on Saturday, but I figure if I get it all filled out now, then I'll have it ready for when I need to start on Saturday. And then I'm going to put my habit trackers in, and then I will start my bullet journal. This is the Pigma Micron PN that I have been testing out the last couple of weeks, just for a heads up. I feel like this got a little sloppy as fuck, but whatevs. Now I'm going to add in an area for dates. So I want to do a half page, a half page, and a half page, but I'm gonna have some extra space. I'm gonna draw my 3 half pages in, and maybe I'll put some food washi tape or something to kind of brighten it up. I don't know. Let's see. First, I gotta count to find out how many dots equal a half page. So there's 38 dots all the way up. I'm gonna do 30, I'll take away 2 for the middle and make it 18 per section. So we'll start here at the bottom with 18 and then we'll go. So I'm going to draw these in. I should add my page numbers too. We got 26. 27. So add my page numbers. I'm going to draw in these sections right now and add a little bit of lettering to make them look fancy. I like how that looks, but I want to double the lines up because these are kind of wobbly, and making it look all artistic and shit makes it feel a little less like you screwed up and more like you meant to do it that way. So that's kind of where I'm at. I want things to look like I meant to do it, even though we all know it's our little secret, YouTube land, that this was just me fucking up and covering it up. But nobody needs to know but me and you, right? Shh. I think that'll be enough space though for food. So I'm gonna add it in for Sunday and Monday as well, and then we'll figure out what we want to put here to make it look finished. And I think that's gonna be perfect for the food log. At least I think that. So I ordered these from the Bye Bye Birdie Co-op a while back, and because I was like, ooh, fat washi that has pictures of food. This is safety first. Oh my God. So I was like, this, you know, this could be fun, right? I ordered these thinking, ooh, fancy fat washi, all French and shit. No, you know what? I have 4 or 5 rolls of these patterns, and except for one that is just like a colorful pattern situation, I have never used them because they're so big. They're almost impractical for the things that I use. Like, I'm sure some people have practical uses for them, otherwise they wouldn't exist. But up until today, I have never really had a use for any of these, except for the one that was like a generic, just colored pattern rather than with images of things. So I'm very excited to get to use this shit. This is some large washi tape. So let's see. Let's take a good look at this fatness. Oh yeah, that is girthy. Holy shit, how am I gonna put this down without it like janking up everything? This is gonna suck ass. Okay, for those of you who are familiar with my regular plan with me, you'll recognize the struggle that I go through trying to get straight washi tape, but at least the dots are kind of helping in this situation. All right, I think that'll work. Let's get my, oh my God, my artist palette knife is too big or too small for this. Let me grab a credit card of some sort. Starbucks card, that ought to work. Balls in my mouth. Fuck. Well, that's a little bit, but nobody will notice that. Okay, see, that looks kind of cool in a French sort of way. All right, I could add some more washi tape, like some more washi tape on the edges and shit, like to fill it in. But for right now, I really just don't have any fucks to give about that. But what I will do is take a little, I've been kind of iffy about color. I use these Tombos over here, and it was just too much of a pain in the ass. Maybe that's part of why I fell off the wagon with time tracking, with the habit tracking, was because trying to figure out what color I'm supposed to use to make it look right was just more of a pain in the ass than I wanted to deal with. So at least with the highlighters, I'm so used to the different colors that I can do them quickly. But with the habit tracker, it was too much. That was a overthinking it situation. But I am going to add just a skosh of color. It's a little sloppy, and you know what? I don't give a fuck. When the time comes, I think I'll grab one of my 800 fucking paper clips that I never use, and I'll slap it on this page to make it easy to find. Because I don't need a washi tape on it all the time, like for the brain dump I haven't used yet. Because this is only going to be for this weekend, and then I'm going to show the dietitian. So anyway, food log, just check. Habit tracker, motherfucker. I'm going to do this just for completion's sake, but I'm pretty sure when I start August, I'm going to figure out a monthly tracker rather than a weekly tracker, because drawing this out every week is starting to piss me off. The time tracker is fine, but the habit tracker, I am starting to get grumpy about having to redo it every week, just for full disclosure. So I'm going to add some lettering in up in here. I'm gonna just start drawing in my trackers, and I'm gonna speed this up too, because you don't need to hear me drawing if I'm not saying anything, but if something funny comes up, sure thing, I will fucking tell you. I've actually gotten fairly decent at freeballing them, even though they're still a little wobbly. I think I want to do this. I want to try something. In the first week I did this, where is it? In the first week I did this for the walk 30 minutes, and I love with like the bubble letters or the block letters, how that looks. I'm going to try and do block letters on top of all of them, and let's just see what happens. Let's experiment, shall we? Why the fuck not? And I will also mention that bubble letters are going to be heavily featured. This is not going to be legible though. I just realized. Fuck my life. I'll know what it means, but I think I should have. The next one will need a little bit more thought put into it. I know that says water. I don't know about you. Block letters and bubble letters are going to be explored in much more detail this year in Mama's Love Lettering Season 2, just as a heads up. So is it walk 30 minutes? How did I do that to make it look so cool? Well, I guess we will have to figure that out, won't we? You ever have this feeling that you came up with an idea whoops, that's a janky looking M, but it's sort of legible. Have you ever had this feeling that you have this great idea that you think is going to look great, but then it actually doesn't turn out as cool as you want it to? I'm in that land right now. Just full disclosure. I mean, to be fair, I know what everything says, but you know, we live our lives on the internet these days, so I'm not the only one who needs to know what this says. I had to just add that because I don't even know why I'm still putting this on here. It's like the goal that I'll never reach. I should probably be more realistic, like 7 a.m. But then again, if I was going for realism, there's a lot of things I wouldn't be doing. Just saying. I think if I have the first letter kind of off the thing so you can read that, it helps, maybe. It's these A's that are killing me small. Like, how in the hell am I supposed to know that that's an A? And that 3 is the dorkiest looking 3. And this is not how I wanted to end this. So read 30 minutes. This is turning into more of a hot mess than I intended it to. That looks like an IG to me. And then we'll do, I'm just gonna write stories. I know it's Instagram stories because I can never remember to use Snapchat. That's a lie. It's not that I don't remember to use Snapchat. It's that I can't figure out Snapchat because I'm an old person. And this is the most illegible situation ever. And I just don't give a shit at this point. Try smaller this time. I think I'm way overthinking this. So I know some of you in the comments are gonna be like, Cindy, stop overthinking it. I know. Challenge. Gotta make sure I spell this right. Challenges. I know I'm overthinking this, but that's what I would do. From far away, that doesn't look bad. It just doesn't look great either. Whatever. I could add drop shadows, but that's too much work. Not gonna. Time to put my tracker in. I could also shade these in, but again, like I said, I think that it is more important for me to try and keep up with my tracking than make it look fancy and beautiful. Like ultimately, and I guess this goes for any of us, we all tend to sometimes, at least in the planner community, especially if you have like an Instagram or whatever, it's easy to get caught up in making everything fancy and not actually using it. So I guess that's my request to all of you, is to make sure that whatever you're doing, you're actually going to use it and not just make it look pretty and then set it to the side and do something else. Try and use what you're doing. You know, if I can give any wisdom today, it's make sure that what you're doing is something you feel comfortable using. Learn from my mistakes. And then we'll make my little key here. 1/2 hour. Notes. I'm basically copying last week, except I didn't actually finish last week. So if I'd only used the one day, if I hadn't used that day, I could just go back and reuse it, but I'm not gonna. And then I just need to add my colors in, which I'm just gonna speed right through because you guys have seen this before. Except I think I'm gonna try it the opposite way this time, and I'm gonna just write them in and then color them in and see if I can remember the right ones. So I have all my categories in. I'm gonna go try and match the colors. Let's see if this works. So we got purple is Jesse, which equals my husband. It can be just hanging out with him time. It can be eggplant time, and we aren't gonna go too deep into that. That's what she said. Going in too deep on that. Oh, I hope my husband's not watching this week's video. He will be like, really, Cindy, what the fuck? So we have sleep, we have kids. I'm changing cooking to food because it equals cooking time or eating with the family time. And I've said this in the past that I do not always track that, because sometimes if we're having just a good old time with each other, that I don't need to separate it. It's just part of it. So if you don't see a lot on there, that doesn't mean I'm not eating, even though lately, because of my appetite being so janky because of my kidneys, that actually could be the case. But usually It's just because it got sucked into something else. Kind of like hanging out with Jesse or hanging out with the kids. There may be TV watching in there, but we're watching a TV show together, like Game of Thrones. P.S. If you guys watch the second episode of the new season, holy shit. We can talk about it in the comments if you want, because goddamn if that was not fucking epic. I'm using these mild liners, by the way. Notice that everything else in here stayed the same except for changing that for chores. I've got my Patreon. My business is built into regular business stuff, Patreon and YouTube. We got my usual brown for social media, farting around, basically fucking off on my phone. Not fucking off in a wanker kind of way or like watching porno, but just my phone. And then we have the light blue is fucking off, which again, not eggplant time. That's usually in the purple realm. So my camera stopped filming right as I was wrapping up, so I'll just show you. So it really wasn't much. I just finished this part of my key and then put my Harry Potter quote in for the week, but I will show you that I fucked up on it. The ones we loves. Are we Gollum now? I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so that's my bullet journal for the week. I did not have the best week last week with it, so we will see if this week I can do a better job. Let me know about your struggles with your bullet journal this week. Did you have any? Because I would love to hear about them. And if you have any recommendations for a good month in review type spread, let me know, because I really want to do that next week and I want to start digging around. But I'd like to do something that's kind of fun and not necessarily so, but not all like woo-woo either. I don't know what I'm looking for. So if you have an idea, let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.